We thank everyone for being here with us this morning for this great celebration. I'm just here right now to welcome you as a group and to ask you to please prepare for the ceremony happening in a few minutes. So if you'd like to come take a seat or get ready. We'll have everything started. Our Vice President, Nick, will actually give the welcome in a moment, so because he's with the city part of the program. So we're going to start in about a few minutes, so please kind of get gathered, finish up your coffee, kind of get yourself settled, and get ready to go. Thank you very much, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to ask all the city directors please join other folks who are part of the program. Clearly, we are grateful for today. We'll have Nick Norfolk, who's the president of the Walnut Valley Neighborhood Association, get us vice president, get us started.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nicholas Norfolk. I serve as the Vice President of Walnut Homes Valley Association. It's great to see everyone in the community come out to support the Walnut Valley neighborhood. Thanks to the mayor, city board of directors, first responders, Walnut Valley residents, volunteers, and any other dignitaries amongst us today. A year ago tomorrow is the one-year anniversary since a tornado came through Arkansas, impacting residents in Little Rock, North Little Rock, Sherwood, Wynn, and many other communities. I'm proud to say that our communities are stronger because of it. I hope today inspires each of you to continue to be supportive to one another, especially in the face of adversity. As the African proverb states, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Together, this neighborhood, this community, and this city has embodied what it means to be Little Rock strong. Lastly, the ceiling from the 9/11 memorial tree serves as a symbol of strength and perseverance. Just as it will grow, endure, and flourish, so will our neighborhood. Again, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kathy Peck. I have the privilege of representing Ward 4 and my favorite neighborhood, Walnut Valley. I do not know of a neighborhood more resilient than Walnut Valley. If you drove through here a year ago, you wouldn't even recognize this place now. I'm really going to try not to tear up, but I'm just heads up, I'm pretty emotional about this. On March 31st, I actually was hit by the tornado too. I have a little restaurant called Trios in Pavilion in the Park, and guess what? We're closed again for some more repairs. We closed for a couple of months, and we're closed for a couple of more weeks. But we also are resilient and are going to come back stronger than ever. After we were at Trios giving away about 3,000 pounds of food that we were going to lose anyway to potluck, I went home and tried to kind of pull myself together. And on Sunday, my dear friend and colleague, Lance Hines, called me up and said, "Hey, what you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm just trying to figure out what to do next." He said, "Come on, let's go for a ride." And he picked me up, and we started pretty much where the tornado hit at Roller Chanel Funeral Home. And then we started tracking through. We share a boundary, and we ended up in Walnut Valley. And I was devastated. I was happy to see so many community groups and people out cleaning up and helping, and I felt a little bit better about that. But when I got to the board meeting the following week, my friend Dean Campura said, "You know, the city's going to look really good for the first few weeks. We're coming together. We're Little Rock strong. We're to get things cleaned up, and then some time will pass, and it will look like we don't care." And I know there have been a lot of frustrations, specifically in this neighborhood, but in the other areas of the tornado path that the city doesn't care. Well, the city does care, but there's a lot of red tape and bureaucracy, as you all know, because we've all encountered it. The Walnut Valley HOA meetings were a big eye-opening for me. I had not had many friends in this community, and now I have lots of friends and family. And I was so impressed, especially with Dylan's work, Troy's work, firefighter Clint's work, to help this community get back on its feet. In particular, Clint Travis, and I don't know if you're here, are you, Clint? He was a young firefighter who was in Station 9, and he was at the HOA meetings helping his neighbors, even though he had lost everything, figure out how to file the insurance forms, the FEMA forms, what to do to secure their houses. He was there with his laptop to help, volunteering to board people's homes up, to help them pack up their belongings, taking care of others before he took care of himself. And it was just unbelievable. And then the nightmare began, the looting. Anything that was not bolted down was stolen. I mean, washing machines, generators, hot water heaters, belongings, and it went on and on and on for weeks. We had curfews in place for a while, we had patrols for a while, but it just wasn't enough. It wasn't a daily occurrence, it was multiple times a day. People were looted and robbed and disrespected, and I felt completely helpless. Here we are. It's looking a lot better. We still have an incredibly long distance to go. I publicly cried at a board meeting one day because I was so frustrated. I wanted the city to come in and get all of the debris, and then I found we can't go on private property. All these parameters and rules and regulations that didn't allow us to address this the way that I wanted us to address it. But I tried to be patient and just kept doing the best I could to help the neighbors in my ward specifically, especially Walnut Valley. Again, we have a lot of work to do, a whole lot of work. And I don't want people to think that, okay, it's done, now we can go on about our business. There are people still not in their homes. Clint, for example, he's having to take a second mortgage out to repair his home. He's in an apartment somewhere. I'm asking people, generous people, if you can help contribute to get these people back in their homes, contact me. I really want to help and make these things happen quickly as we possibly can. And to close, and I can't believe I haven't cried yet, a very dear friend of mine who lived in Little Rock, hasn't been here in 50 years, I correspond with her on a regular basis, and she was very generous with me and my staff when we had to close for the tornado. And she sent me the words of this song yesterday as she was remembering the anniversary tomorrow, and they seem so poignant, I just want to share them. To be humble, to be kind, it is a giving of the peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way that has no end. We are love, we are one. We are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war. We are how we treat each other and nothing more. To be bold, to be brave, It is the thinking that the heart can still be saved, and the darkness can come quick, the dangers and the anger and hanging on to it. And tell me what it is that you see, a world that's full of endless possibilities. And heroes don't look like they used to. They look like you do. We are love. We are one. We are how we treat each other when the day is done. Mayor Scott.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Director Peck another round of applause. Director Peck has been a true and tireless advocate, not only for Ward 4, but particularly for Walnut Valley. She has been a lioness for each and every one of you, making certain not only that myself and the members of the City of Little Rock Board of Directors that are here and those that weren't able to be here, but particularly making sure that any opportunity that we have to reinvest, to deregulate, and to offer more assistance that we can has been directly because of the fighting and the advocacy of Director Peck. And I want her to know personally how much we appreciate you and your servant leadership. Members of the community, we stand here today, and as I recognize City Director Antoine Phillips, Vice Mayor Kathy Webb, City Director Lance Hines, and all the members of the City of Little Rock Board of Directors that are here with us today, as well as the men and women of the Little Rock Police Department led by Chief Helton, the men and women of the Little Rock Fire Department led by Chief Delphon Hubbard, the volunteers who are standing with us today, the neighbors who are standing with us today, but also the Little Rock Cares individuals as well, who focused on donations as we wanted to redeploy back into not only this community, but every community that was impacted by this tornado. March 31st, 2023 is a day none of us will ever forget. While it was minutes of time, it'll be a lifetime that we'll always remember. Minutes of time created this. Why? We don't know. But one thing we do know out of it, we've seen unity within our city. We've seen grit and resilience to ensure that we come back better than ever. And it starts with each of us. It starts with making certain that we cut through the red tape, irrespective of federal government, local government, to ensure that where there's resources available, that we get the resources to the community. We know that this tornado not only impacted you, it also impacted our men and women of the Little Rock Fire Department and Fire, who literally demonstrated service above self by making certain that their residents, their neighbors, were taken undercover at Fire Station Number 9, risking their own lives because they do that each and every day. We share appreciation to them. And with that, we're grateful that the members of the City of Little Rock Board of Directors have been able to identify funding to rebuild Fire Station Number 9. Now, we ask for patience, just like we all understand that patience is not something we all really like, especially when you're dealing with insurance companies and you're dealing with resources. But we have identified the architect, and we're working towards ensuring that we have the contractor in place, and we hope that at least within the next year that we'll have it erected back here in this community. And we know the focal point that it has for this community. But as I think back on that day, we know that many of us, this was our first location that we toured. I think back of Mr. Moe, who's up this hill right here, where we walked over to his home to ensure, because the main thing that he wanted at that point in time, no matter that his house was deteriorated, was he wanted some photos of his family. And we all know that family truly makes us all wealthy. Family makes us wealthy. He wanted to ensure that this memorabilia would remain and go from legacy to legacy. And while this tornado is something we'll never forget, we will understand that the unity of this community is also going to be a shining star. And as we see the rebuilding efforts come, we know there's more work to do. There's a reason why we chose to come here. We know that this is not the only neighborhood. We know who was the hardest hit. And while you don't quantify hardest hit basis off another area because we want to make certain that we take care of every area, but we wanted to demonstrate to you that you are not forgotten and that we will continue to do whatever possible to take us to the next level. And what that means is even thinking about new creative ideas because we also understand that housing is an issue in the city of Little Rock, particularly affordable housing. And it's going to take some effort from an infrastructure standpoint that we create more housing even here alongside of you of getting your feedback to make certain we don't do anything to you, we do things with you. And as we move from that and we continue to focus on this day, we want to say thank you to the 911 Survivors Memorial. As we all know, 23 years ago, a day that we'll never forget either, 9/11/2001. We all, if you ask yourself, you know exactly where you were when you saw those planes crash into the buildings. But for 911 to think this much of the city of Little Rock, to give us one of their 911 Survivors Memorial trees to plant here. And the reason why we want to plant it right here, not any other place, because we want to show a sign of rebirth. We want to show a sign of rebuilding, but also a sign of renewal. Renewal means that it's not just being new, but it's reinvigorating what's already inside. And we know that there is good seeds in this ground, and this is fertile ground, and that we're going to become back stronger and better than ever because of each of you. And we say thank you. We ask and understand that this is not a sprint. It will be a marathon, but we're going to make certain that we close the gaps as quickly as possible. We know there's more work to do. We say thank you, but also understand as we enter into this time of faith and renewal, whether you are a brother, a sister of the Hindu faith, whether you are a brother or sister of understanding the Passover and Jewish faith, and whether you are a brother or sister experiencing Ramadan at this period in time, but also whether you are experiencing the Holy Week in the Christian faith. It is about rebirth, it is about resurrection, and it's also about ensuring that we are renewing ourselves together. And so we come together across all religions, but we come together across this entire community to truly display the beloved community, to rebirth together. Thank you so much. I think now, Aaron, directions for the 911 Survivors Memorial.
Now we have chosen, or not we, but the Walnut Valley Homeowners Association has chosen a space where the tree will be planted. So we're going to journey over here to where that is so that we can get that photo and see them put the seedling in the ground, and then we'll have you and Director Peck and the president of the association put the dirt back in space. Yes. So we'll move this way now.
I'm not on the agenda, but I'm a member of the board and I've lived in this neighborhood for 30 years. And we need to acknowledge and give public thanks to churches like Pulaski Heights Methodist Church that had an amazingly generous donation to us early on in this process, and Emmanuel Baptist Church, who has been our financial savior. And that is so appropriate on this weekend that Emmanuel Baptist Church, our neighbor, is our savior. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I would really like Are we faking it?
Oh, no,
look.
that's there for a reason.
Sorry. There. Whoopsie.
There we go. There we go. Okay, and if everyone is now rolling, we'll go ahead and have. Okay, so now if everyone is rolling, we'll go ahead and have the tree placed.
Come on, Dylan, get your back into it.
I know, right?
Angela?
You got to put.
Hey, Nick.
Is it stable now?
There he is. Oh, Roberto. Yay, Roberto.
We got to pack it down. Yeah. Let Roberto do it, and we'll pack it down.
There you go. Oh, Thank you all so much.
Work.